put out. On members, just in terms of this meeting of the Select Committee on Security and Justice, we did send out notice to honourable members in terms of the reports that we intend to adopt in terms of today's meeting. Members would have received reports in relation to the Magistrates Commission, matters that we dealt with in our previous meeting. Members would have also received the Security and Justice Legacy Report. And also there's a set of minutes that we sent to members as well for consideration and adoption in today's meeting. And members, I should just also indicate that this is not our last meeting as a committee. We intend to hold another meeting largely as well to deal with all other outstanding matters, especially in relation to minutes. But that is likely to be the final meeting. That said, honourable members, we'll then move on to the agenda item relating to the magistrate's report. As I indicated, honourable members, we received various reports, presentations from the Magistrates Commission last week with regard to about 7 or 8 magistrates, as well as the progress report. Members will recall that a lot of the issues that we engaged in that meeting were largely around the long delays by the Magistrates Commission in analysing disciplinary matters, as well as the delay in the quarterly report on progress reports that we expect as a committee. I think in that meeting, the discussion was largely around those sort of issues, and I take it that members were comfortable with the decisions that we are expected to take as a committee, especially in terms of the provisional suspensions, the suspension or removals, as well as the upliftment of the suspension. I think in our previous meeting as well, we looked at the various, I made reference as well to the various sections of the Magistrates Act that requires us to deal with these matters. I think that being said, honourable members, we've sent the reports to yourself. In terms of the agenda, we will go report by report, obviously allowing members as well, if they have any additions that they would want to make to the reports or corrections. And then we would look into the adoption of those reports. Our members, I'm going to then request Gershwin then to just flag the report. The first one is with regard to the Magistrate H.C. Roth in relation to the suspension or removal from office. Gershwin?
Thank you, Chairperson. Members, I'm just going to give you a summary of the report. So in terms of the title, the committee is reporting on the confirmation of the suspension / removal from office of Mr. H.C. Roth.
My apologies. Yes, apologies for the interruption. I don't know, members, is it just myself? Because I don't see the report. I just see your screen where you're opening a document, your document screen here.
Let me try that again, Chair.
Or members, is it just me? Please correct it if it's just me.
No, it's just not. We are hearing you.
Okay.
Is that better, Chairperson?
Yes, Station. Thanks. Please continue.
Members, just to continue then, the report of the Select Committee on the confirmation of suspension / removal from office of Mr. H.C. Roth, additional magistrate, albeit also on the ground of misconduct in terms of Section 13(4)(a)(1) of the Magistrates Act 1993. It was referred to the committee on the 8th of Feb and is dated today's date for adoption. And then, members, we just the committee was briefed on the commission, and they received several complaints on different occasions relating to Mr. Rath's conduct, and he was for fraud as a potential investor. At the time, Mr. Rath was acting head of the court. The complainants are aware that Mr. Rath is a magistrate and trusted him with large sums of money. Chairperson, I'm going to just leave it at that. Members do have the report, and they have been briefed on these matters. I'm going to move to the recommendation, Chair, which is that having considered the Minister's report dated 23 November 2023 concerning the suspension removal from office of Mr. Rath, Additional Magistrate Oberholzer, on the ground of misconduct, the committee recommends that the National Council of Provinces resolve not to restore Mr. Rath to the office of Magistrate. Chairperson, I hand over to you.
Thank you very much, Gershwin. On members, I would then open it up to yourselves. If you have any additions and or corrections, you'll note that this is the report itself it alludes to to more of a summarized kind of the issues that are raised in relation to the magistrate. So, on members, are there any additions or corrections that you would want to make to the report? Okay, if there are none, then if there's any honourable member that would want to move for the adoption.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, no, there's not really anything that we want to add. We read through the recommendations, and I'm happy with that. So, Chair, I will propose for adoption of the report.
Thank you very much, Honourable Bartlett. Any second?
Seconded, Chair. Kinumutsamai.
Thank you very much, Honourable Mutsamai. Are there any? Okay, it's a report. All right. Our members will then move on to the next report. Oh, sorry. Just in terms of, I think we should note the objections or abstentions if there are any. Okay, if there are none, we'll then move to the next report, which is the suspension or removal of office of Mr. K. Maharaj, the additional magistrate at Caledon. Gershwin, if you could assist us.
Yes, Chairperson. Are you able to see the report, Chair?
Yes, we can. Please continue.
Thank you, Chairperson. Report of the Select Committee on Security and Justice on the confirmation of removal from office of Mr. K. Maharaj, an additional magistrate at Caledon, due to his continued ill health in terms of Section 13482 of the Magistrates Act 1993. It was referred to the committee on the 8th of February 2024, and the report is dated 24 April. Chairperson, Mr. Maharaj was appointed 1 Feb 2018 as an additional magistrate at Caledon, but Mr. Maharaj in 2 March 2020 experienced ill health while presiding in court, and this resulted in him being booked off sick. This was immediately reported to the Magistrates Commission, and after numerous doctor's reports, Chairperson, that was requested, the Commission held a review of Mr. Maharaj's ability to continue. And then in terms of the regulations, he was advised that the date of his appointment, there wasn't advice that the date of his appointment was incorrect. He then submitted himself to further medical examinations. And then the Magistrates Commission Chair submitted a medical report to the Commission, and they addressed the following aspects, Chair. I'm not going to go through all of them. And then he was afforded the opportunity to comment on the matter and to state a case in response with specific reference to his illness. And Mr. Maharaj complied with the request. And then on 14 September 2023, the Commission furnished Maharaj with a letter explaining the written explanation of its opinion that he does not have the capacity to carry out his duties of office in an efficient manner. In terms of Regulation 29(6)B, Mr. Maharaj is also afforded the opportunity to submit to the chairperson of the Commission his written comments regarding this opinion. And in his response, he agreed that he is unable to continue his functions, Chairperson. The Commission then considered the medical reports and Mr. Maharaj's comments and held the view that Mr. Maharaj should be removed from office due to continued ill health. Chairperson, the Minister then tabled his report within 14 days, concurring with the Magistrates Commission's recommendation. And this report is now before the committee. And the recommendation, Chair, if I may. Having considered the Minister's report dated 1 December 2023, requesting that the National Council of Provinces confirm the removal from office of Mr. K. Maharaj, an additional magistrate at Caledon, due to his continued ill health in terms of Section 13482 of the Magistrates Act. The committee recommends that the National Council of Provinces resolve not to restore Mr. K. Maharaj to the office of magistrate. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Kishwan. Our members, once again, are there any additions members would like to make to the report? Kishwan, if you could just leave the recommendation there, please.
Apologies, Chair. Let me just get back to that.
Our members, are there any additions? Okay, if they are not, is there any member that would want to then move for the adoption of the report? Honorable Maleka?
Thank you, Chairperson. I move for the adoption of the report.
Thank you very much, Honorable Maleka. Any second?
I second that, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, members. Report is seconded. Thank you very much. Honorable members, are there any objections, abstentions to adopting this report? If there are none, thank you very much, honorable members. The report is duly adopted. Honorable members, we'll then move to the next magistrate's matter, the suspension or removal from office of Mr. Hinga, the Chief Magistrate of Bloemfontein. Kishwan?
Thank you, Chairperson. I hope members can see that. Please let me know if it's not visible. Chairperson, the report of the Select Committee on the confirmation of suspension/removal from office of Mr. Hinga, Chief Magistrate Bloemfontein, on the ground of misconduct, tabled in terms of Section 13(3)(b) of the Magistrates Act 93, which was referred to the committee on 26 February 2024. Chairperson, there was sexual assault allegations that was leveled against Mr. Hinga after unsuccessfully trying to report the matter on several occasions at different police stations. The complainant, as a last resort, lodged a complaint with the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services on 29 June 2016, alleging that Mr. Hinga had raped her. A complaint was submitted to the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development on 2 November 2016, and thereafter referred to the Magistrates Commission for attention. And then, based on the evidence, the magistrate was charged with 2 counts of misconduct. On the advice of the Commission, the Minister of Provision suspended Mr. Hinga with effect from 29 November 2017, and Parliament confirmed the suspension. On 23 January 2018, the magistrate applied for an order to review and set aside the Minister's provisional suspension. The Commission's decision to institute a disciplinary/misconduct inquiry against him and declaring the disciplinary inquiry on him, the misconduct charges against him, invalid and unlawful. The application was opposed by Mr. Hinga, but Mr. Hinga did not proceed further with the application, Chairperson. So in the absence of a court order preventing the Commission from proceeding, the misconduct inquiry began on 30 October 2018, and the Commission closed its case on 26 November 2020. Mr. Hinga chose not to testify or call any witnesses in his defense and closed his case. The matter was postponed to 14 and 29 January 2021, 7 June 2021, and then again to 8 July 2021, when Mr. Hinga was found guilty on both charges. The matter was then postponed again, 9 and 10 September 2021, for both parties to address the presiding officer on the sanction. Proceedings were postponed again to 22 and 23, and this continued, Chairperson. Mr. Hinga submitted mitigating factors in writing on 4 November 2021, but did not attend the hearing again, scheduled for 29 and 30 November. The presiding officer recommended he be removed from office. Chairperson, to continue, Mr. Inta continued with many more legal proceedings. Chairperson, he interdicted the Commission, the Minister, the Speaker of the National Assembly from implementing the decision of the presiding officers in the misconduct proceedings. The matter was then struck from the roll in 20 December 2023. On the advice of the Commission, the Minister confirmed Mr. Hinksa's suspension from office and tabled his report dated 2 February 2024 in terms of Section 13(4)(b) of the Magistrates Act 93. Chairperson, in terms of the recommendation, having considered the Minister's report dated 2 February 2024, requesting that the National Council of Provinces confirm the suspension/removal from office of Mr. Hinksa, Chief Magistrate Bloemfontein, on the ground of misconduct, the committee recommends that the National Council of Provinces resolve not to restore Mr. Hinksa to the office of Magistrate. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Kushman. Our members, once again, any additions members would want to make to the report or corrections? If there are none, is there any member who would want to move for the adoption of the report?
I move to adopt the objection.
I think you just, okay. Teta.
Thank you, Chair. I move the adoption of this report.
Thank you very much, Teta. Matsamai. Okay, Matsamai, you didn't finish what you were saying earlier, but anyway, any other member who wants to comment?
I'm here to second Honorable Teta.
Thank you very much, members. Are there any objections or abstentions? If there are none, honourable members, the report is duly adopted. We'll then move to the next report in relation to the suspension or removal from office of Ms. DA, the magistrate of Forest Smith. Question?
Thank you, Chairperson. The report of the Select Committee on the confirmation of suspension/removal from office of Mr. Ye, Magistrate Forest Smith, due to her continued ill health in terms of Section 13482 of the Magistrates Act 93, and referred to the committee on 16 April 2024. Chairperson, on 11 November 2022, the Acting Chief Magistrate Bloemfontein reported to the Magistrates Commission that Mr. Ye, on 6 February 2022, was involved in a motor vehicle collision, wherein she sustained serious injuries, including a fractured arm and diffuse traumatic brain injury. Chairperson, she was immediately admitted to medical clinic Bloemfontein and then transferred to various other rehabilitation centers, Chairperson. The Commission provided with the following progress reports relating to her ill health, which were already in Mr. Ye's possession. Chairperson, moving on to the findings, Chair. So having considered the fact that Mr. Ye was no longer fulfilling her obligations as judicial officer through a continued absenteeism from office, the resultant financial burden and the negative impact on court and case flow management and the administration of justice in general, the Executive Committee of the Commission, in terms of Regulation 29, one of the regulations for judicial officers in lower courts, 1994, ordered that an investigation be conducted regarding a possible removal from office on account of continued ill health. Mr. Ye was in compliance with the regulations and notified about this. She was in compliance with the Regulation 29.3 and requested to submit any additional medical reports from a registered medical practitioner of her choice. Ms. Ye did not respond and did not submit any additional reports from any of the medical practitioners that treated her. Commission on 30 November 2023, in compliance with the regulations, provided her with a written exposition of its opinion that she does not have the capacity to carry out her duties of office in an efficient manner, and she was afforded the opportunity to reply in writing. She did not respond, Chairperson. According to the latest medical reports dated 18 September 2023, the occupational therapists from the Greymore Rehabilitation Team assessed Mr. Ye on 5 September 2023 and concluded that based on the assessment findings, Mr. Ye does not meet the requirements of a current occupation. So in its report, also, Chairperson, the Dr. De Bruin, a neurosurgeon, also indicated that he fully agrees with the occupation therapist report. Then at the meeting held on 2 February, the EXCO, in compliance with the regulations, considered the medical reports and formed the opinion that Mr. Ye should be removed from office due to continued ill health. Chairperson, this was then confirmed by the Minister and recommended her removal, Chair. So if I can move to the recommendation. Having considered the Minister's report dated 15 March 2024, requesting that the National Council of Provinces confirm the removal from office of Mr. Ye, Magistrate Forrest Smith, due to a continued ill health in terms of Section 13482 of the Magistrates Act, the committee recommends that the National Council of Provinces resolve not to restore Ms. Ye to the office of Magistrate. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Gershwin. Our members, are there any additions or corrections to the report? If there are none, our members, is there any member who would want to move for the adoption?
I move, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Bartlett.
Thank you, Honorable Bartlett. Any seconded?
I second Honorable Chair, Honorable Dodovu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dodovu. Are there any objections, abstentions? If none, thank you very much, Honorable members. The report is duly adopted. Honorable members, the next report would be with regard to the provisional suspension from office of Ms. R. Govender. Gershwin? Am I okay? Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Chairperson, the report of the Committee on the Provisional Suspension from Office of Ms. Govender, Magistrate Lenyenye, Limpopo, tabled in terms of Section 13.3b of the Magistrates Act and referred to the Committee on 26 February 2024. Chairperson, Ms. Govender was permanently appointed as a District Court Magistrate at Lenyenye Magistrates Court on 1 February 2018. The misconduct charges against Ms. Govender stem from a criminal case, the State versus Mongwe Victor Mangene special review case in the High Court of South Africa, Limpopo Province, Polokwane, in which the presiding officer noted that a copy of the judgment be forwarded to the Magistrates Commission for its attention. According to the judgment, Ms. Govender was dishonest, her behavior inappropriate, and brought the name of the magistracy into disrepute. The commission resolved to charge Ms. Govender with misconduct. On 30 August 2023, served her with a charge sheet and provisional letter of suspension dated 24 August. Ms. Govender was charged with contravening, among others, the Magistrates Act, the regulations for judicial officers of the lower courts, and the Code of Judicial Conduct for Magistrates. Chairperson, she was accused of changing an accused plea of guilty to not guilty and acquitted an accused without a trial taking place. She willfully and unlawfully provided false and incorrect statements to the reviewing judges that gave a picture that shows that on 9 September 2019, there was a full-blown trial for the whole day, and thereafter the matter was postponed for judgment, but did not specify to which date was the matter postponed, when in truth, Ms. Govender knew or ought to have known that she acquitted the accused without a trial taking place, to the prejudice of the administration of justice. Chairperson, the Commission invited Ms. Govender to make representations as to why it should not recommend her provisional suspension from office, but she did not address the issue of her possible suspension, Chair. She remained silent. So in the circumstances, the Commission recommended Ms. Govender be provisionally suspended. On 20 December 2023, on the advice of the Commission, the Minister decided to provisionally suspend Ms. Govender from office and with immediate effect, pending the outcome of the misconduct hearing into her fitness to hold office, Chair. And in terms of the recommendation, having considered the report of the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services dated 20 December 2023 and tabled in terms of Section 13.3b of the Magistrates Act on the provisional suspension of Ms. Govender, Magistrate Lenyenye, Limpopo, from office on the ground of misconduct, pending the outcome of a misconduct hearing into her fitness to hold the office of Magistrate, the Committee recommends the National Council of Provinces confirm Ms. R. Govender's provisional suspension from the office of Magistrate. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Gershwin. Honourable members, are there any additions or corrections to the report? If there are none, is there any member who would want to move for the adoption of the report?
I move, Honourable Chairperson.
Honourable Dodovu, I do move for the adoption of this report.
Thank you very much, Honourable Dodovu. Any seconder, Honourable Bartlett?
Chair, when I pick up my hand, you don't see my hand. I
Honourable
seconded the
Tamai,
adoption.
I don't see your hand. Oh, your hand was not up. In actual fact, nobody's hand was up on this round, but thank you very much, Honorable Matamai, for seconding the report. Are there any objections and or abstentions? Okay, if none, thank you very much, all members. The report is duly adopted. All members, we'll then move to the next report, which is with regard to the provisional suspension from office of Mr. Singh, Senior Magistrate at Pietermaritzburg. Over to you again, Gershwin.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, the report of the Select Committee on the provisional suspension from office of Mr. A.A.K. Singh, Senior Magistrate, Pietermaritzburg, KwaZulu-Natal, tabled in terms of Section 13(3)(b) of the Magistrates Act and referred to the committee on 18 April 2024. Chairperson, Mr. Singh is the Senior Magistrate at Pietermaritzburg. The Magistrates Commission received several complaints against Mr. Singh. A charge sheet and notice of the recommendation for provisional suspension dated 27 September 2023 was served on Mr. Singh. The charges concern the following. In July 2023, he sent inappropriate, concerning, and threatening WhatsApp messages to journalists following the publication of an article. Under oath, he stated that he had attended a meeting with members of the SAP's Crime Intelligence Unit on 30 December 2016, while he did not attend the meeting. He had or has a close relationship with officials attached to the SAP's Crime Intelligence Unit, to the extent that during the period 2016 and 2017, he actively involved himself in the Crime Intelligence Unit's investigations and undercover operations by identifying and recruiting suspects appearing in the Pietermaritzburg Magistrates Court as informants/contacts, assisted with arrangements for the Crime Intelligence Unit to covertly install recording equipment at an office he identified for recording purposes, assisted the Crime Intelligence Unit with the investigation of a project into the Fees Must Fall incidents, and divulged information regarding the strength of a case against arrested persons to an identified informant/contact. In response, on 9 October 2023, Mr. Singh forwarded representations on why the Commission should not recommend to the Minister that he be provisionally suspended. On 13 October 2023, having regard to the seriousness of the allegations against Mr. Singh and the evidence at hand, and Mr. Singh's representations, the Commission recommended he be provisionally suspended. On 18 October 2023, on the advice of the Commission, the Minister provisionally suspended Mr. Singh from office with immediate effect, pending the outcome of the misconduct hearing into his fitness to hold office. Chairperson, in terms of the recommendation, having considered the report of the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, dated 20 December 2023, tabled in terms of Section 13(3)(b) of the Magistrates Act 1993, and the provisional suspension of Mr. A.A.K. Singh, Senior Magistrate Pietermaritzburg, KwaZulu-Natal, from office on the ground of misconduct, the committee recommends that the National Council of Provinces confirm Mr. A.A.K. Singh's provisional suspension from the office of magistrate, pending the outcome of a misconduct hearing into his fitness to hold the office of magistrate. Thank you, Chairperson.
Once again, thank you very much, Gershwin. All members, any corrections or additions to the report? If there are none, any member would want to move for the adoption of the report?
I move, Honorable Chair, Honorable Bartlett.
Thank you very much, Honorable Bartlett. Any seconder?
Ndongeni seconds, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ndongeni. Are there any objections or abstentions? Okay, if there are none, thank you very much, all members. The report is duly adopted. Members, I think we'll move then to the final report on the magistrates' matters in relation to the upliftment of the provisional suspension from office of Ms. K. Budlani, Regional Magistrate at Umlazi. Gershwin, over to you once again.
Thank you, Chair. Chairperson, the report of the committee on the upliftment of the provisional suspension on certain conditions from office of Magistrate K. Budlani, an acting regional magistrate at Umlazi, KwaZulu-Natal, in terms of Section 13(1)(gi) of the Magistrates Act 1993, which was referred to the committee on 1 February 2024. Chairperson, Ms. K. Budlani was appointed to the office of magistrate on 1 October 1996. Since beginning her probation as acting regional magistrate on 4 November 2013, Ms. Budlani mostly presided in the Sexual Offences Court in Umlazi, KwaZulu-Natal. The Minister, on the advice of the Magistrates Commission, provisionally suspended Ms. Budlani on 21 July 2020, pending the outcome of an investigation into her fitness to hold office as acting regional magistrate in terms of Section 13(3)(b) of the Act. Parliament confirmed Ms. Budlani's provisional suspension. The National Council of Provinces on 17 September 2020 and the National Assembly on 19 March 2021. On 29 March 2023, the Acting Regional Court President wrote to the Commission requesting Ms. Budlani's provisional suspension be lifted for her to attend to the reconstruction of a court record relating to a case over which she presided. The accused in the matter had filed an appeal to the KwaZulu-Natal Division of the High Court, and on 6 May 2022, the High Court had ordered, among others, that the appeal is hereby adjourned sine die. The court must reconvene with a view to reconstruct the record pertaining to the outstanding evidence with reference to the presiding officer's notes, Chairperson. I'm going to move on to the Commission recommended Ms. Budlani's suspension from office be lifted in terms of Section 13(1)(gi) of the Magistrates Act to comply with the High Court order and pending the conclusion of the inquiry into a fitness to hold office on the following conditions. Ms. Budlani only deals with the reconstruction of the record of the Mlazi Regional Court case, the State versus Clement Mabuso and Global. She be instructed to attend thereto as a matter of urgency. She must not conduct herself in a manner that compromises the integrity of the judiciary and brings the administration of justice into disrepute. She's not assigned any other cases to deal with, and the Regional Court President provide regular reports to the Commission on whether Ms. Budlani is abiding by the conditions of the upliftment. The Commission indicated that it had been advised that Ms. Budlani has no outstanding part-heard matters. Then, Chair, in his letter dated 29 November 2023, the Minister advised that he had received the Commission's recommendation that Ms. Budlani's suspension be lifted on certain conditions, and that Parliament be approached to consider uplifting the suspension, which he supports. Chairperson, in terms of the recommendation, having considered the Minister's request that Parliament uplift the provisional suspension on certain conditions from the Office of Magistrate, K. Budlani, and Acting Regional Magistrate at Mlazi, KwaZulu-Natal, the committee recommends that the National Council of Provinces approves the upliftment of the suspension with the following conditions. Chairperson, it's the same conditions I've read out earlier, Chairperson. But I need to read Part E, Chairperson. The Regional Court President KZN provided regular reports to the Commission on whether Ms. Budlani is abiding by the conditions of the liftment of a provisional suspension and the progress of the reconstruction of the court record as required by the High Court. The liftment is for 2 weeks after the adoption of the report by the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. Chairperson, here I just need to explain that we had discussed on the 17th of April a 1-week suspension. But in reading the synergy between the two houses, the PC committee had, their wording was the liftment is for 2 weeks after the adoption of the report by the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. So they had provided for when the National Council of Provinces would adopt its report, and they had given 2 weeks, Chairperson. So to keep it consistent between the two houses, I've left it as 2 weeks, Chair. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Gershwin. Yeah, thanks, Gershwin. I think you also clarified that last sentence with regard to the liftment for 2 weeks. Our members, yeah, as Gershwin did indicate in the last meeting, the Commission indicated that a week, but yeah, I think given the explanation between the Secretariat of this committee and the Secretariat of the Portfolio Committee and the question of synergy between the two reports, I'm sure members, if you have a view on the 2 weeks thing, you're welcome to raise it. So, our members, let me call for any correction and or any amendments that members would want to make to the report. Additions on members? Okay, if there are none on members, then is there any member that would move for the adoption?
No, Chair, I want to move for the adoption of the report.
Thank you very much, Omaleke. Any seconder?
Ndungeni seconds, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ndungeni. Any objections or abstentions? If none, thank you very much, all members. The report is duly adopted. That being said, all members, we are done with the reports of the Magistrate Service of the Magistrates Commission. We'll then move on to the next agenda item on members, which is the consideration and adoption of the legacy report of the committee. I'm going to request our content advisor, Anthea, to then take us through the report. Anthea, over to yourself. Members, I know it's quite a lengthy report, but I think we take it that you've been through the report. I think Anthea will just highlight certain aspects of it, and thereafter, on members, you obviously can engage with the report. Anthea, over to you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honourable members. Yes, Chair, I'm just going to highlight the key aspects of the report. So this is the report of the Select Committee on Security and Justice during the 6th Parliament. Gershwin, if you can just move down to the second paragraph on that page, please. So in fulfilling the responsibilities during the 6th Parliament, the committee processed 52 pieces of legislation, 10 international agreements, and 1 petition. In addition to this, the committee also processed various regulations and fulfilled its statutory functions in respect of processing Magistrates Commission reports as we did today, as well as firearms amnesty and increases to the salaries of magistrates and judges. The committee also attended to the removal of Advocates Jiba and Mugwebi and attended to appointments made in respect of papers referred to the committee. The committee conducted 8 oversight interventions, either physically, virtually, or via joint meetings with other committees in Parliament. Oversight was further done via budget hearings on an annual basis, with various departments overseen by the committee, and the departments were required to respond to the recommendations made by the committee. Public participation was always encouraged, and sufficient time was given to commentators to make written submissions to Parliament during both the Section 75 and Section 76 processing of bills. If the bill was either of a technical nature or was of great interest to the public, the committee hosted public hearings. The committee often received many submissions on the bills before the committee, and these submissions were responded to by the relevant department responsible for the bill. The committee was, however, unable to undertake a study tour as planned to Brazil or Ghana. Gershwin, I'm going to just move further down to page 7. So the rest, moving along, members, the report highlights the committee work for each year. And then I just want to read the conclusion there. The committee has met all its legislative and statutory obligations timelessly, particularly considering the pressures related to constitutional court deadlines and urgent bills. A key highlight of this Parliament was the passing of legislation that will facilitate access to justice for all persons living in South Africa, as well as being able to assist the petitioner to bury a son after many years of the family not having closure. Even though most of the committee's work was done virtually, the committee continuously met its deadlines and succeeded in passing important legislation. The only outstanding matter is that the committee was unable to undertake the study tour as mentioned. Gershwin, you can move further down. Number 3 highlights the key focus areas of the committee, including gender-based violence, focusing on the benefits of military veterans, amongst others, the implementation of legislation, particularly the Border Management Authority Bill, and also oversight of the Magistrate Commission, amongst others. Gershwin, you can move on. The next section highlights key areas for future work. I'm not going to speak to that. I'd like to speak to the challenges just below that, Gershwin, and then the recommendations. So the key challenges emerging. The committee experienced a few challenges with the processing of legislation. The limited timeframes for processing of legislation, with some pieces of legislation having constitutional court deadlines, passing to the committee for concurrence a few months before the deadline. And in one instance, an international financial obligation related to the Paktatara Bill, as members will remember, requiring the committee and by extension the NCOP to condense their processes to pass the legislation. The committee, however, followed due process in terms of public consultation in respect of processing the legislation. The committee also noted an influx of individual submissions from Dear South Africa, which did not reflect substantive comments on the bills processed by the committee. and mostly came in the form of petitions. The committee had written to Dear South Africa during its public participation process on the Land Court Bill, which garnered thousands of responses from Dear South Africa, requesting a summary of the submissions and data analysis of the trends emanating from the submissions. Dear South Africa, at the time of writing this report, however, had not responded to the request. At the beginning of the 6th Parliament, the committee was restructured and the Departments of Home Affairs and International Relations were added to the work and the mandate of the committee. However, the capacity of the committee support team was not strengthened. This raised challenges in optimizing the work of the committee and the provision of support to members of the committee concerning oversight and legislation in respect of home affairs and international relations. Certain oversight visits were also not undertaken due to the COVID-19 restrictions and the volume of legislation being processed by the committee. In terms of recommendations, the NA should implement plans and timeframes for processing bills timeously, particularly those with constitutional court deadlines, to ensure that the NCOP has sufficient time to process legislation in respect of both Section 75 and Section 76 bills. The committee should endeavour to clarify the public participation process with Dear South Africa to ensure that individual petitions are not sent to the committee and instead one submission reflecting the main comments are sent to the committee. The committee should prioritise more oversight and find an effective balance between the volume of legislation before the committee and the committee's function of conducting oversight in provinces. Oversight should be prioritised over child justice and Tutuzela centres, as well as having a meeting with the Department of Public Works in respect of the challenges in relation to infrastructure within the criminal justice sector. Oversight should be conducted over the Magistrates Commission. Further engagements should be undertaken with the Department of International Relations on international, bilateral and twinning agreements of provinces. Given the high volume of legislation, as well as the number of departments the committee oversees, additional committee support should be allocated to the committee. The committee should also prioritise a study tour in the 7th Parliament, and this study tour will enhance the knowledge base of members within the committee around specific focus areas of the committee. Gershwin, if you move further down in members, the rest of the report really speaks to the functions, the mandate, the purpose of the report, and lists various statistics in terms of the legislation that was processed, as well as oversight done by the committee. Gershwin, if you can please move to page 63. Challenges from legislation. I'd just like to touch on that briefly. Just further down. There we go. Thank you. So the following challenges emerged during the processing of the legislation. Gershwin, if you can just move down. Lengthy processes at the NA with legislation and the pressure on the SC committee to complete the legislation quickly, legislation with constitutional court deadlines, and compressed timeframes to process legislation. It is therefore recommended that the 7th Parliament should follow up on the concerns that arose. Proper planning should be undertaken during the NA processing of legislation to ensure that it considers the time required by the Select Committee to process legislation, particularly in respect of legislation with constitutional court deadlines. The 7th Parliament should consider utilising the precedent of joint planning and procedure developed between the SC Security and the PC Home Affairs Committee processing the ELA Bill 2023 and the EMA Bill 2024. Joint planning between the NA and NCOP committees would ensure a seamless process for ensuring that bills are processed timeously. Gershwin, if you can just move down to page 69. There you can see oversight trips that were undertaken, the various oversight trips. And then on page 69, it just speaks to the study tour, the issue of the study tour. So no study tours were undertaken, although the committee had agreed to visit Brazil. The committee had further agreed to conduct a joint international trip with the SC COCTA and SC Petitions Committee. This unfortunately proved difficult for the host countries to accommodate. The committee partnered with the PC on Home Affairs to conduct a joint study tour of Brazil with a specific focus on the electronic voting implemented by Brazil. The approval process was unsuccessful and was subsequently postponed. Thank you, Gershwin. If you can move to page 83, please, which deals with the Magistrates Commission reports. And there you have a table with the Magistrates Commission reports and other papers that were referred to the committee for members' information. Page 83, Gershwin. Thank you. So the challenges emerging, in fact, the committee had a conversation and a meeting with the Magistrates Commission just last week. So the committee has generally expressed its strong dissatisfaction with the length of time it took to complete the disciplinary processes while magistrates were receiving their full benefits. And the committee also noticed that there was a gap in the quarterly reporting on provisionally suspended magistrates. At last week's meeting, the commission informed the committee that a new chairperson of the Ethics Committee was appointed in 2022, hence the delay in quarterly reporting. The Magistrates Commission is currently developing standing operating procedures, implementing guidelines, file audits, and instituting various mechanisms to reduce the delays in processing the disciplinary matters of magistrates. During the 6th Parliament, the Select Committee and the PC Committee Justice met with the Magistrates Commission on these delays and the systemic challenges. And given particularly the new implementation of changes in the Magistrates Commission, aimed at the speedier processing of disciplinary matters, it is recommended that the 7th Parliament continues conducting oversight over the work of the Commission and ensures that quarterly reports are received timeously. Then lastly, there's a summary here of some outstanding issues which I just want to mention. A meeting with the Department of Public Works on the infrastructural challenges in the criminal justice sector. A joint meeting with the PC Police and PC Justice on the implementation of the Zondo Commission report, a follow-up meeting with the Magistrates Commission on delays and systemic issues, and to conduct follow-up with DIRCO on the twinning agreements. Then, Chairperson, the recommendations are as mentioned before, and the latter part of the report just has an attachment of the committee's strategic plan. I thank you, Chairperson. I'm done with my presentation.
Thank you very much, Anthea, for presenting the report. I think you've also emphasized the challenges that were encountered by the committee and also highlighted the outstanding issues that remain, as well as the recommendations of the committee. On members, are there any members that would want to make any additional additions to the report and or comments in relation to the report? I'm not seeing any hands. I take it on members that you are happy with the report and that it reflects largely the work of the committee over this term of Parliament. You're happy with the recommendations as well. I think we try to be quite thorough in terms of putting together the report. If members are happy, then on members, is there a member that would want to then move for the adoption of the report?
Honourable Chairperson, Honourable Bartlett, move for the adoption of the report, thanks.
Thank you very much, Honourable Bartlett. Any seconder to the adoption of the report?
Dungeni seconded, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honourable Dungeni. Thank you, honourable members. I think the report is duly adopted. Thanks very much, and thanks to the team, Gershwin and Thea, especially for putting together this information. I know it did take some while to try and get everything in order, ensuring that the data, etc., it's all correct. Thank you very much, Gershwin and Thea. On members, we'll then move on to the final agenda item, which is in relation to the minutes of the committee. There are 7 sets of minutes that we intend to consider. These minutes were sent to honourable members I must just indicate on members, I think this is one area where we're unable to also keep up, especially around the adoption of the minutes. We've been trying previously to try and adopt minutes as soon as possible, but I think this term, the last year especially, was quite hectic for the committee. So I think in terms of today's meeting, we'll deal with these 7 set of minutes, and I think in a future dated meeting, our members will then try and table the rest of the outstanding minutes, including today's meeting as well as the last week's meeting as well. Our members will then deal with the minutes dated 23rd of February 2024, and I'm going to request Gershwin to take us through. Gershwin, I see it's the 23rd of Feb now.
Yes,
Okay.
Chairperson.
All right. No, Gershwin, over to yourself.
Thank you, Chairperson. Members, this was a consideration adoption of the Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill, and the committee considered the report as well. Just in terms of the summary, the committee received the department's response to the submissions on the cannabis bill. During this meeting, it became clear that many commentators misunderstood the bill, particularly in respect to the right to cultivate. The department informed the committee the right to cultivate is not prohibited by the bill. Instead, Clause 4.5 prohibits the cultivation of cannabis in excess of the number of plants that will be determined by the Minister for Regulations. And then, Chairperson, if we can just move to the apologies. Ms. Bartlett apologized. She did join the meeting a bit later. And then in terms of the membership, everyone was present on that day, Chair. And then I'm just going to deal with the adoptions. The committee consideration and adoption, Honourable Dovo moved and Honourable Bart seconded. And then in terms of the report as well, Mr. Mutsamai seconded. Chairperson, thank you. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much, Gershwin. Our members, the minutes dated 23rd of February 2023 in relation to the adoption of largely the adoption of the cannabis bill. Are there any additions or corrections members would like to make? If members are happy, is there any mover for the adoption of the minute?
Chairperson, I move for the adoption of the.
Thank you very much, Honourable Maleka. Any seconder?
Seconded, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honourable Ndongeni. Thank you very much, all members. The minutes are duly adopted. We'll then move on to the minutes. Question, I've got it dated as 24th of February, but 28th of February. Okay, all right, Gershwin, take us then through this. Okay, Gershwin, over to you. Minutes dated 28th of February.
Thank you, Chair. The 28th of February, the committee deliberated on the National Prosecuting Authority Amendment Bill, and then received a briefing by the Department of Police on the submission received for the Independent Police Investigative Directorate Amendment Bill. Chairperson, just in terms of the summary, the purpose of the NPA Amendment Bill is to amend the National Prosecuting Authority Act, Chairperson, and establish a permanent entity within the office of the NDPP. And then, Chair, just at the last meeting of the committee, the department responded to the 4 submissions made in the bill, and that the committee noted that due to commentators requesting that the NPA requires independence and meaningful reforms to address existing issues within the NPA, the department assured the committee that a broader review of the legislation pertaining to the NPA will be conducted. The NA has requested that such a bill be tabled before the end of January 2025. Chairperson, just in terms of the IPID Amendment Bill, the committee received a briefing on the bill on 14 February. The IPID Amendment Bill seeks to entrench the institutional and operational independence of the IPID. Chair, the committee called for comments on the bill. Those are the dates, and the committee received 7 submissions. Chairperson, just in terms of apologies, Mr. C.F. Bayer-Smith apologized. He joined the meeting late. Mr. M. Tetwa and Mr. N. Hadebe were attending the KwaZulu-Natal State of the Province Address, Chairperson, and those are duly recorded. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Gershwin. All members, are there any additions or corrections to this minutes? If none, if there's a member who would want to then move for the adoption of the minutes dated 28th of February.
I move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Bartlett. Any seconder? Any second, honorable members, for the adoption of the minutes? Or members, am I audible?
You are.
Okay. Any seconder for the adoption? Okay, honorable members.
Yes, Chair, Honorable Malik.
Thank you very much, Honorable Maleka, for seconding the adoption of the report. Thank you very much, all members. The report is duly adopted. We'll then move on to the next report dated the 6th of March. The next set of minutes. My apologies. Gershwin?
In terms of the minutes, 6 March 2024, the committee considered and adopted the National Prosecuting Authority Amendment Bill, considered the adoption of the committee report on the NPA Amendment Bill, and then the committee deliberated on the IPID Amendment Bill, Chairperson. Chair, I'm not going to go through the repeat of what we dealt with. There were no apologies. Chairperson, everyone was present on that day. And yeah, I'm going to leave it at that, Chairperson. I'll hand over to you.